Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too. Because you're watching content like this, the name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in the whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing to live. What I'm discussing in this video is moving from hope to expectation. So when we start our spiritual journeys, and like I said before in several other videos, we do this over and over and over again. So there is no like, I had a spiritual awakening and then I'm there, we do this over and over and over again. When we're going through these processes and we find ourselves at these moments to where we are trying to create something new in our lives, we're trying to put forth a new desire, a new way of being, a new expectation or something, we have to get into the place where we are giving ourselves permission to have the desire in the first place. So that is kind of like where you might find yourself in a hope phase. Instead of having like a negative mindset or a lack mindset, you may be in a place where you're like, I'm super hopeful. I'm hopeful that this situation may turn out better than what I think. I'm hopeful that I can create something better in my life. I'm hopeful that everything that I've been putting into this life is working out for me in this moment. So that is an important place to be. And the reason why is because it creates this positive energy, this frequency, this flow in your life to where you can begin to open up and make it okay to want things, because you'll find that before you hit these moments, sometimes it's too painful to want things because we feel like those things may not show up. And if we want them and we don't get them, then the level of disappointment may be too much for us. So sometimes we just stop ourselves from wanting the things. But if we get into the hopeful space, that means we've decided that I'm going to want these things. I'm going to start looking at the positive aspects of my life, and I'm going to start trying to create these things in my life, right? So what I understand about hope is that it is very much so needed. It is very much so a large aspect of creating the abundance that we want to experience in our lives. But one thing is for sure about hope is that we cannot stay there. And the reason why we can't stay in hope is because it is laced with the idea that what we are trying for, what we are trying to create in our lives is so far in the future, but I'm feeling good about it, right? It's way out there, but I'm feeling really good about it. When we are right on the precipice of creating these beautiful things in our lives or seeing our desires come to fruition, because I'm a strong believer that when you're in alignment, you can feel when things are about to shift or change or expand in a way that you were looking forward to, something that you want to experience, right? When we get into that space, we can no longer sit in the hope phase, because then we're creating resistance for our manifestations, no matter what they are. We have to get into the phase of expectation. Expectation is right before the phase of I can feel it, it's here. And so some people, if they go into the I can feel it, it's here way too quickly, they feel like they're lying to themselves, and it doesn't have the effect that you want it to have. It has like the opposite effect, because you're actively feeling like you're not being honest with yourself, and you're saying, I'm here, I've arrived. That's why affirmations that are like, I am a millionaire, I am beautiful, those things rarely work for people, because they're not truly lined up with that on the inside. But when you get into the space right before that expectation, it means that I have outgrown the area of hope, and I truly believe in these things for myself. I feel positive about it. I feel excited about it, or whatever word you're using. And then you get to where now I expect these things to happen in my life. I expect these things to show up in my life. So that means your language will even change, the way that you have conversations with others, right? My daughter has been lately bothering me for... She's not bothering me. She's got her license, and she's at the point where she wants a car, right? So I have a car that I don't super love, and I drive it because it's a nice car. Nonetheless, she has her eye on it. And so I remember there was a time when she was looking at that car, and because she hears me talking about getting another car for myself. So she knows, she has her eye on it. And I remember a time when she was talking about it. Oh, it would be nice. It would be great. And she would be like, well, it doesn't have to be this. I'll really take anything. That was her attitude. Because when people first drive, they were like, I could take any car. And then they start getting real particular after that. And so I watched this, I watched this evolve into now it's like, when I get my car, and she's talking about the one that I'm in. It's like, oh, when I get my car, I'm gonna turn this pink. Oh, when I get my car, I'm gonna see how much it costs to get it wrapped. Oh, when I get my car, I'm gonna get these windows tinted because the sun's always beaming on me. And I'm like, somebody's really sure that this car is gonna go to them, right? And the thing about it is, it's because she's moved into the expectation place. She's beyond the hope area, but at this point, she's like, I expect that this will happen in my life, right? Now, when she, because it's so fun to watch kids, younger people, because they're so, what is the word? They're so they don't have layers and layers of years of interactions on them. So they're so clear, like when it comes to these phases, and you can see them a lot more clearly when you're looking at younger people. So when she starts saying things like, I left it in the back of my car, and she's not even realizing she's saying my car and it's not even really her car. That's when you know she's living in the space of it. She's in the moment where this is mine. I know it's mine, and that moment is present. So what we want to do in our lives, for the most part, when it comes to our manifestations, is move away from hope. And I wouldn't say rush through it. I wouldn't say do it as soon as possible. But I would say that make sure you're always leaving the door open. Say, okay, yeah, I got this. I know that I can create things. I know that my life is beautiful and positive. I know that when things happen that I don't like, I can always shift it and change it and grow and expand and be. I know that when things happen that I don't care for, that it's probably just a detour to something else. Then you get into the space where it's like, I expect. I expect every month that there's no issue with paying a mortgage, right? I expect that. I don't even think about it not being the case. I expect every, 2 or 3 months when my daughters bring home their report cards or grades that it's going to be pretty much straight A's. It's not that I'm just like, you better make straight A's and I'm hounding them and getting on their back. I don't do any of that. Even when I homeschooled my daughters, I wasn't on their backs. I was like, you need to learn how to learn. And that's what they did, right? So they rarely even come to me with anything related to school. But I know when they show me those grades or I look at them, it's going to be a whole bunch of 90 somethings because that's just who they are. And I had a conference with one of them, and the instructor said her lowest grade is, and I was like, oh no. And she was like, ooh, a 96. But she's working on that. And I was like, what? Whatever. And so what I mean is that there's some things that I have full expectation for, right? And that's how we got to get when it comes to the things that we want to create and produce in our lives. Where in your life are you still sitting in the hope area? I find that people sit in the hope area with their finances. They sit in the hope area with creating romantic relationships. And so when in that area, I know when I'm sitting in hope, because relationships are not like money. Money's easier. You can look at money and you can say, I want this, that, and I want to create this, and I want to do that. And, if you start putting certain things into practice, you can create a career pretty much the same way. When it comes to like romance and like relationships, I'm always on the hope side. I was like, well, I hope one day that the reason why is because it's always messy. And I'm not saying messy is a bad thing. It's not something that you can like pinpoint and say it's going to be exactly this way. So it's always something that I know I'm sitting in the hope part area of. Now, the expectation part of it, no, not there, right? So where in your life do you have room to move away from hoping something will be better to expectation? Because what happens when you start putting expectation in the mix, your actions will change, your attitude towards it will change. The things that you do on a regular basis related to that particular area in your life, it will shift towards the direction of expectation. Because it's kind of just like someone being pregnant with a baby. I think I heard Neville Goddard say this. They're being pregnant with a baby. When we know that woman is pregnant, we do checkups on it and we make sure that she's healthy and everything's going as it should be. But we know that there's an expectation that there's going to be a baby at the end of those 9 months, right? Now, things can go off the path and we know that, but the vast majority of the time, there'll be a baby. So what do we start doing? Our mind shift. We start talking differently. We start speaking differently. We start saying, oh, when the baby comes, or this is for the baby. When it gets really close, it's like the baby is not even still in the tummy. It's like it's present. It's like, oh no, that's for the baby. Oh, I'm doing this for the baby. The baby's still in the stomach, but we're talking like it's there, right? When we're in the expectation phase, we start to do things differently. We start to do preparations. We start to move differently, speak differently. So where in your life can you move away from hope and desire? The desire comes first, hope, and then expectation. And I'm a firm believer that when you get into expectation mode and you start moving in the way of expectation, you automatically get into the I'm living it, I'm being it, this is my life. And you don't even see it happening. You don't even see it coming, because that's the next natural step in that process. Anyway, moving away from hope to expectation. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.